Hi guys, I want to show you this video that I found the other day. It's interesting. Joe is talking about Mirko Cro Cop, saying some things, we'll see what. And then I want to show you the comments. I went to comments, got in a fight there, and it's interesting. I like those things. I like fights on internet, it's funny. So let's first watch the video and then I'll comment.
Here's the best stare down of all time in MMA. I'll show you the best stare down.
Right.
Mirko Cro Cop versus Vanderlei Silva. This is the best stare down ever because Vanderlei was, his nickname is the Axe Murderer. He's a fucking savage. He was a Pride middleweight champion, bad motherfucker, just a bad mother. But he was fighting Mirko Cro Cop, who was the head of an anti-terrorist squadron in Croatia, and he's a real murderer. You're talking about a different kind of fucking straight up killer and an elite high level kickboxer. So look at Cro Cop on the left.
Yeah, I see him.
See, that's the eyes of the guy who's killed someone with a knife. See, there's a fucking completely different stare down here. Cro Cop's looking at him and he's not budging. This is the first time where Vanderlei lost a stare down. Where Vanderlei was used to staring guys down and they would be intimidated, and Cro Cop looked at him like he was dinner.
Why would he say that? This is so weird. I was like, it was funny and also surprising. Like, why are you saying all these things? Where did you come up with this? Like, I never heard of this story. And today I was researching a little bit. I never find it anywhere. I don't know where he got the idea that not only he was a head of anti-terrorist squadron, but he was also a real killer. And notice that it's not a metaphor. I was thinking first he's using it as a metaphor, like a killer, you know, just because he's a fighter, so killer. But no, with this detail about a knife, killer with a knife, a real murderer, he even said. So I really believe he thinks that Mirko was somehow, I guess during the war, because we in Croatia we had war, so he probably assumes he was in this terrorist squadron, anti-terrorist squadron, so he was killing people with a knife, you know. First, Mirko was not a head of that anti-terrorist squadron. It's not a squadron, it was a unit, anti-terrorist unit, Lučko. It's called ATJ, Lučko. Lučko is a small town next to Zagreb. It's connected to Zagreb, you can almost say it's a neighborhood of Zagreb, but it's a town on its own, so Lučko, where Croatia has this anti-terrorist unit. It's a unit. There's 350 people in it, and Mirko was not ahead of it at all. Never. He never had a commanding position in that unit. That's the first thing. Second thing, Mirko didn't kill anybody, let alone with a knife. So it didn't happen. Mirko is he was born 1974. So when the war started in Croatia, he was still a minor, 15, 16. We did have some guys going to war as young as 16 at the time, volunteering, but there was just few of them, and they're all known and registered. And in Croatia, you can go and check their names and everything. It's not a secret. Everybody knows who those boy warriors were. Croatia, during the war, we had a lot of volunteers, and they were really equipped quickly and good. Only in the first year of war, Croatia needed to use police or enlisted soldiers, drafted people. Just the first year. After that, we had really an ocean of volunteers. We had enough professionals in the army that we didn't even have to use drafted enlisted people, at least not on the front in the first line. They used to use them, but for different things. We'll come to that again. So Mirko was way too young, and he joined AT Lučko actually after the war. It was just over when he joined Lučko. So he never seen any action as part of AT Lučko. Never. But he did. He was in the army before that for maybe a year, as he was drafted in 1994, I believe. He was drafted, But as I said, especially that year, which is already like in the second half of the war, close to the end, Croatia did not use enlisted, drafted men for combat. They used it for, I don't know, keep an eye on warehouses, to just like police, to police the city, to police the state, to keep order. We were in a war, it was a huge war, so army was everywhere, but these young guys, young army as they used to call them, they never participated in direct combat after the first year of war, which is like at least 2 years after that time when Mirko was even in an opportunity to do anything. So he was most likely never in a real combat situation, and even if he somehow somewhere did, I couldn't find anything online, anything to confirm. He for sure didn't kill nobody with a knife, because that would ask for some special, I don't even know what kind of scenario, because in Croatia, first of all, anybody who was killing people with a knife is known, and they were tried. It's a war crime, and people went to jail, and on both sides, all three sides actually they were. So this couldn't be like a known thing, so well known that even Joe knows about it. But for me not to know, and nobody else in Croatian, for him not to be arrested for that, what is that about? Like, really weird. Here I found a little documentary about Mirko, and in this part he's talking about the war and some of it, so let's watch that part also for you to get a better image of what was going on at the time and where was Mirko during all of this. Also, before we start watching this, let me say this. I should have said that in the beginning of the video. I don't hate Mirko. You can even say I'm his fan if I were a fan of anybody. I don't like that word or just the idea of celebrity worship or whatever, but I don't mind the guy, and I for sure don't hate him. I've watched every single fight of his many times, multiple times, some of them 50 times. When I was a kid, I used to be really into him. Like, yeah, you know, like Mirko fighting. We were a small country, now all of a sudden you have this guy fighting on the highest elite level. It's like, you know, you're gonna, especially as a young kid, you're gonna get hooked to it. So I don't hate him, because I'm saying this, you'll see in the comments later what transpired, and I know how it goes on the internet. If you don't adore one of these celebrities, oh, then you're a hater. And if you have anything to correct them or criticize or anything, even just a little bit, you're a hater. And this video is not about Mirko at all, actually. Mirko didn't say these things. This is Joe. So I'm not putting Mirko down by saying he's not a murderer. I hope that's clear. Because this is some strange situation, as you'll see later in the comments, where somebody's saying for somebody that they're a knife murderer is a compliment, while the guy that's saying no, he's not a murderer with a knife is a hater. That's like really strange conundrum happened here. Also about Kanye, as I was making videos a couple of days ago about him, notice how it's like saying for somebody that he's a murderer that kills people with a knife is okay, and that kind of like elevates him. That's like better. Ooh, he's like cool. He slays people with a knife. So cool. While saying that you like some guy that's dead for 75 years and that's totally irrelevant actually today, oh, that's a crime that we cannot forgive. That's gonna be like, you're gonna get cancelled.
12 godina sam imao te 91. Sjećam se, baš smo tu, svi smo tu sedeli klinci, ja i moj kum ekipa, pa smo punili tu vreće za pjesak. Tenkovska kolona krenula, sad ja ne slažem, ne znam ili od strane Laze, mislim da od strane Mirkovaca su oni išli preko Laza, nema pojma sad. Uglavnom taj most je srušen i onda je počelo operiranje bilo. 2 dečka, nažalost, i susjeda tu i prijatelja poginuli. Kuće su ove kompletne uz bosu srušene. Kad su ti tenkovi išli, pa su onda svi življavali, znaš, dođe tenkovskom granatom, svaka je dobila po 2, do temelja. Tada u to vrijeme negdje, to je bio početak 12. mjeseca, su javili iz gimnazije Vinikovačke da se organizira nastava, jel? Kako ko je bio raspoređen, neki su bili u Zagrebu, neki križe.
Okay, in this part he's describing how war came to his little town. He used to live in Privlaka, which is close to Vinkovci, which is northeastern part of Croatia, close to Serbia. So the war basically started there, and it was pretty hard in some of these cities there. It was devastating. So he's describing how it started for him. He was 70 years, and there were some tanks and shooting, and somebody even died, some of these guys that he used to know. And then the school where he was going to school organized for these kids to be transported to safer parts of Croatia to finish school, because it was over there where they used to go in Vinkovci. It was done. There's war. So they sent them all around, and he ended up in Varaždin, which is northwestern part of Croatia. And the war never reached that far. So he went to the high school there and finished in 1993. That's when he was done with school. Then, after that, he first was drafted, and then after that he went to police academy. And after that, so it must have been at least 1995, he joined this anti-terrorist group, which is meaning it was at the end of the war. The war was done. So he never saw that kind of action, which again is not putting him down, it's just reality. It's not me saying Mirko is lame or something. You don't need to kill. I don't need him to be killing people for him to be cool. He's cool enough on his own. He's one of the best fighters ever in MMA, an icon, an idol, a legend. There's no need to add lies on it to make him look better. No need at all. Let's finish this video.
Dok sam bio u vojsci, otac mi umro. Ostali ja i stara bez kune, još napravili, još lovice što je ostalo, napravili starom grobnicu, spomenik i stvarno sam ostali bez kune. I sjećam se ko sad, ja predao molbu za policijsku akademiju, htio sam ići u Zagreb, da se trenirati, naravno doći u priliku da se borim, to mi je bio san snova, K1 i to. I predam molbu za akademiju, odem na prijemni, sve sam dobro odradio. Naravno, dobijemo, nisam bio, ispod crte sam bio. Stara plaće, sjećam se tog dana, ko sad, srce mi je htjelo puknuti, stvarno, toliko sam imao volju, želju da nešto da napravim, ali ne možeš ti glavom kroz zid, jel? Ja nešto u Vinkovcima bio s nekim ekipom kart, ali kod jednog frenda u kući. Ja došao, Drago dolazi. Drago me po gradu cijelom tražio, hitno u auto, kod njega rekao šta je, kaže hitno, nešto se dogodilo, rekao hitno kući, ja ne znam šta je. Ja došao kući, stara plaća, drži papir, telegram, stigla s policijske akademije, da sam ipak primljen. Neka veza proradila, ja sam s par strana pokušao da mene nađu, da me poguraju. Evo, danas ne znam kome je upisao. Eto, ono kome je upisao, eto, moram reći, evo, zahvaljujem se, kogoda mi je.
So there, he described how he went to police academy. It's important to say also in this part, notice he said his father died. He was accepted to Lučko against rules even. Because one of the rules to join ATE Lučko is you had to have 4 years minimum of prior experience in police or military or army, one of those things. Mirko had none. He went to police academy for a year, I guess, and he was drafted, enlisted in this young army for some 10 months or maybe a year. So he didn't have 4 years, but he was accepted because he was an orphan basically, and one guy named Zvonko Lučić, which was his unofficially his stepfather. He's a very powerful guy in Croatia during the war, connected to intelligence circles. He had security company, a bit shady guy, but also for Mirko, he was good because he recognized his talent, and he pushed him into this Lučko basically to keep him off the street, we can say, and for him to have a paycheck, insured paycheck every month, and a place to train in their gym and everything with the guys who are much older than him, and a lot of them had black belts or at least experience with wrestling, boxing and stuff. So Zvonimir Lučić basically took him in, didn't adopt him, but took care of him in a way that Mirko to this day calls him his second father, and he helped him a lot. So Mirko was basically an honorary member of that anti-terrorist unit just to keep him off the street, to get that paycheck, and to have a place to train and people to train with, which is basically what he's saying here. Let's watch this video to end.
U prostorima antiterorističke jedinice Lučko. Mogu ti reći da se super osjećam ovdje, eto čak velik dio slobodnog vremena ovdje provedem i uglavnom spavam ovdje.
Imaš stan u drugom dijelu grada, a svejedno si ovdje, zašto?
Pa ne znam, najljepše se odmorim i super mi je ovdje, eto. Bude uvijek ekipa dole, kasnije malo za Belijsku Afrikanciju i lijepo se osjećam ovdje.
Pratiš politiku?
Pa evo, pratim, evo imam ovdje baš. Imamo 2-3 politička magazina ovdje, imam neki Budo Internacional.
Kako spajaš jedan posao i drugi posao?
Pa nije to meni problem, mnogi ljudi me to pitaju, pogotovo se Japanci ne mogu načuditi, s obzirom da je ovdje plaća mizernih, kad preračunam mizernih $500. Meni nije ta plaća na kraju kraja ne privukla ovdje. Pa jednostavno volim, uvijek mi je bio životni, još dječački san mi je bio biti specijalac i najbolji borac svijeta. Evo, imao sam sreću u životu da mi se oba sna ispune, odnosno bio sam dovoljno uporan da ispunim.
Imaš neki poseban tretman ovdje?
This is an important part. So here we'll get a good idea of how it was like for him to work there at that anti-terrorist unit. So as you can see, it's mostly having fun there, playing cards, jokes. There's no slaying people with a knife at all, not even close.
Pa da ti budem iskren, imam, evo, ne idem na stražu nikad, dečki su išli na tabor u Samoborsku gore 7 dana, mene je to preskočilo, jedinog u bazi nisam išao. Mislim, sasvim razumljivih razloga, jel? 7 dana su po šatorima spali, u šumi se ukopaju u zemlju, pa katastrofa. I žive na suhim obrocima, hranu su suhu u cijeli 7 dana jeli, dođu puni bolesti, ovako, onako, mislim, katastrofa. Ispucali žulja, ja sam bio poravio mjesec dana od toga. I sasvim razumljivo da me zapovjednik poštedio toga, eto, znači imam neki sitni privilegije. Ne idem na stražu, nemoguće da stražarim cijelu noć, drugi dan da treniram i tako. Neke detalje su me poštedili, treba biti fair pa reći, a ostali dio, ja ne bježim od toga i dapače.
Kako izgleda intervencija?
Dežurni, da, uzbunu, znak uzbunu, uglavnom za ekipu, interventnu ekipu koja je 24 sata u bazi. Telefonski se pozove ili je, pošto sam ja ovdje u sobi, dovoljno da vikne dozvol da je uzbuna i treba nam oko 4 minuta da budemo spremni na ulazu u vozilima već.
Šta kad imaš meč i to?
Pa, kad imam meč nisam tu, onda sam u Japanu, onda me ne vredi zvat, mi treba 1-2 dana da dođe. A ostalo je tu, ja sam onako u Japanu kratko svega 4 dana sve skupa.
Okay, so what did he say here? So he had somewhat special treatment. Of course he did. He's like one of the best fighters in the world. Of course they're gonna take care of his career, you know, like let him recover, let him train, he can't go on these like camps and stuff if he needs to fight like in a couple of days. That's normal and understandable, and again, me saying that is not putting Mirko down. It's just normal life, and that's the truth. Here, he's saying it. What happened? And now you noticed he also said his commander, he's asking his commander something this and that, which also goes to show that he wasn't ahead of that unit. And the third thing that's interesting, he's mentioning interventions. So, after the war, that anti-terrorist unit, we never had terrorism in Croatia, never had real terrorism. After the war, we never had, it's not so dangerous, it's not a dangerous country, we don't have terrorists, and they didn't have basically what to do other than act as a SWAT team. So they were SWAT, they used to go and deal with criminals. But it's important to also say Croatia basically doesn't have dangerous criminals. It's very unusual for a Croatian criminal to shoot at the police. It happened a fistful of times, like you can count them on fingers of one hand. It's like in 30 years of existence of this unit, they maybe had once or twice somebody shooting in them. Nobody ever got killed in that unit. Nobody after the war, nobody got killed. They had a couple of people dying in an accident, diving accident. Sometimes they go for these SWAT interventions, but again, in Croatia, even that is not crazy dangerous because Croatian criminals are not that dangerous. There's a reason also why, because in Croatia, for example, if they're robbers, they do like 2 bank robberies, they're not gonna get 40 years for that in some awful jail where they're gonna get raped or whatever. Our jails are nice, you can live there quietly, nobody's gonna rape you, so they're not so afraid of jail. And they're also not gonna get such high penalties like 40 years or whatever. They're gonna get like 5 to 6, 7 years with good behavior. They're gonna get out even sooner, year or two sooner. So a robber in Croatia, when police comes to his door to arrest him, he just goes. He's not gonna be shooting the police because it's like over anyhow, so whatever, now I let him kill me. No, because he knows he's gonna be out soon. So we have, sometimes, this is beside the topic, but let me say it, we have criminals that go to jail for like 5-6 times in their life, and they're gonna do it again. It's like, and that's the reason why they don't even carry. And if they do carry, they're not gonna for sure shoot at the police, risk being killed, risk killing some of them, getting really insane amount of time inside. So you understand what I'm saying? So their interventions are mostly calm also. It's not dangerous. So he did some of that. Okay. Again, not me putting him down, just explaining as things are. For an American, I understand that when they hear SWAT team, they see it as much more dangerous. America is a huge country. American criminals are much more dangerous. Penalties are much higher, which makes them desperate to try and escape, even in the price of risking their life and shooting the police and getting shot themselves. It's different. When you're not gonna lose your life for whatever they're arresting you, then you're probably not gonna risk it additionally and try to kill the police or whatever. So it doesn't happen. And again, as I said, none of them ever got killed. After the war, not one of them got killed in any of these interventions. Didn't happen. So it's not that dangerous. Now I want to show you the comments on that video with Joe, where I have that here. I wanted just to explain, but I did start with LOL, which I shouldn't have probably, but that's me. I'm pretty abrasive online when I start like my comments and stuff. So I said Mirko was not a head of anti-terrorist anything. He was a part of that squad officially, got the paycheck, trained there, but was not really in any field actions or anything. Okay, I went too far here. As we see, he was in some field actions, some interventions, but as I explained, they weren't really that serious, and for sure nobody was getting killed with a knife in those. That's for 1,000,000%. It didn't happen. Croatia is a small country. When we have a crime that involves somebody being killed, we talk about it and make documentaries and for like months. It's not like in the States where every day, I don't know how many people get shot in the street, like 10, 15, 150, I don't know. In Croatia, it's every 3 to 5 years. It happens that somebody gets killed as in some crime or something on the street or a robbery or whatever reason. And then it's like making headlines for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I would know, and everybody would know. It's not like nobody could hide it or even try to hide it. So I said that, and immediately some guy comes to me. Dude, it was the Croatian equivalent of Spetsnaz. I guess special forces in some, I don't know. I dare you to fight him now. See how people think. Like, I'm supposed to fight Mirko because Joe made up some myth and I'm trying to set things straight. Oh, now you're so understand? So I'm like now against Mirko, and he's telling me, like I said, he's weak or something, or he's not a good fighter. He's one of the best of all time. And he even gets 3 likes. See, that's the thing. This is interesting to me, this part with the comments and everything, because I'm always interested. You'll see on this channel a lot. Subscribe, like. Yeah, I forget always to say that. I need subscribers. Please subscribe at this moment. So you'll see that in this channel, I'm always concentrated on not so much on these celebrities or what they do, but people's reaction to it. That's where it is for me. That's where it's at. I'm trying to like understand and see that why would you think like that? Why would even 3 people like that? So somebody says something about a celebrity. I know it's not true. I try to correct it, and I get called out and told to go fight the guy physically. He's daring me, as if it's possible. It's just like, where did that fantasy come from now? What is that about? So I'm telling him, dude, I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm not a fighter. So it's like, much weaker fighters than Mirko can beat me up, and how is that even connected to this topic? What are you talking about? What does that has to do with anything? And I'm telling him now, I'm from Croatia. I think I know a bit more about him and all of this than you. The comments are not in order. Let me read you the one that came then. Then this Brian, right, tells me, cite your sources, otherwise it's just talk. Now this is a thing that I noticed always in these comments and stuff. So you come to somebody and you tell them something. Hey, that's not true. I'm trying to correct you. It's like this, like this, like this. And he goes, ha! Where's your sources? Like, they approach every interaction as a discussion and a fight. So if I say something different, for him that's not like, this guy is saying something completely different. It sounds kind of like also plausible. Doesn't sound completely insane. Let me check it. If I want to know some things about it, if I want to, like, okay, this is a time where I'm going to go Google and see, is there anything about it? You understand? Does it make sense? But no, they approach it in like, never mind. That's not true. If you don't, now it's your duty to link and teach me. And you're going to teach me while I mock you. That's how it's going to be. You want to teach me something? Okay, teach me. Like this. Like I'm going to mock you and you're supposed to teach me. Who made up these rules? Who came up with these rules of conduct? That's not the way people should work. If I told you something, you either dismiss me completely, ignore me, okay? Or if you think there's maybe something to this, then go and check yourself. What am I, your teacher? I'm not getting paid for this. Like, just Google. Do you have Google in your village? What? It's foggy, internet's foggy, you can't see. So stupid. And now I say, funny how you don't need sources from Joe for these insane claims, huh? You know? He doesn't need. Joe is there to say... And look at his logic now. I see no articles that support your statement. Okay, so he Googled. Good for him. Show me one of his colleagues saying doesn't do any field action. Then show me a picture of that colleague and him standing together. Very particular, like very specific order he gives me. I'm supposed to find, not Mirko, but some other guy saying that Mirko never goes to field actions, and then them together standing next to each other. Do they need to wear some specific clothes? You want them to have like fake mustache or what? Nail polish? Like, tell me in detail, because this is really detailed. People are crazy. And then, you're right. I'm not asking Joe to cite his sources because you're the one who is disputing them. Now listen to that logic. Somebody makes a really bold statement that just think about it a little bit. There's this guy who's a knife murderer. He goes around slaying people. I don't need sources for that. This guy that's saying that that's not true, he needs to prove his. And to him that's so like self-explanatory, logical, understandable that he types it out and doesn't see the fault of his ways. Like, wait, why do I accept whatever Joe says as given fact, and whoever disputes him, he needs to prove it. How do you prove something not existing? How do you prove Mirko didn't kill anybody with a knife? You don't have an article about every sportman, athlete, you don't have an article about every athlete who didn't kill anybody in his life saying he didn't kill anybody. You don't get that. Right? You get articles about these who do kill somebody or get arrested suspects of something like that. You don't get article about every athlete saying he didn't kill anybody with a knife. I believe Joe did his research to make that claim he's making, but he didn't, obviously. But never mind. Okay, he believes. You, on the other hand, come off as a hater in the comments. So that's what I was saying before. So this is a compliment, saying somebody that he's a knife killer, murderer, a slayer of humans. That's a compliment. While I'm a hater because I'm trying to just set things straight, what really did happen or did not. So this is my answer to him. See, the Facebook mixed them up, so I answered here, hater. Dude, I was Mirko's fan years before you ever heard of him. So like I said, I'm not really a fan, but I did follow him and I know all his fights and everything. So, and I'm sure before he heard of him, because he's in my homeland. I used to live 100 kilometers away from him, so felt connected. You know how it goes with sports and stuff and kids. I was 12, 13 when he was 14 maybe, when he was fighting and stuff. No, actually even older. He started 96 with he stopped boxing, amateur boxing, and started kickboxing at K1. So it was 1996. I was 16, yeah. And I followed everything, like, religiously. You could say I was a fan. Okay, I don't like the word, but you could say I was a fan. Used to wake up at dawn as a kid to watch him fight in Japan. Hater, I love the guy, which is why I don't like lies being spread about him. You understand, I hope. It's like, how is this necessary to even explain? And then I posted this, which the best thing is, it's in Croatian, and I told him use translator. And here he's talking a little bit about his history. He's not mentioning killing anybody, but or not killing anybody. Why would he? But he is mentioning his timeline of when he started with the army, with the police academy, with the anti-terrorist unit, and all of that. So when you just put that on paper and see when we had war and when these things happen, you can see that they're not in the same time space. So he didn't have that opportunity, wonderful opportunity, to kill people with a knife. Then this guy, James Barnett, tells me, if you weren't in that group, that anti-terrorist group, you wouldn't know shit about what they did or didn't do. Kinda, yeah, okay, but again, and then I answered him here, dude, it's Croatia. First this comment, then this one. First this one. Dude, it's Croatia, not US. Our special forces are a few guys with a van, lol. Again, I'm over pushing here. It's not really a couple of guys, it's not with a van. They have equipment and everything, but the thing is, again, during peacetime, this anti-terrorist group or any other special forces that we have, couple of different kinds, they have nothing to do. They basically act as a SWAT team, and they have 1 or 2 interventions a year. Nobody ever get killed on either side. It's not that dangerous. So they didn't kill people with a knife. I didn't follow them closely, but that would be like a pretty big news. They would talk about it a lot in Croatia. If some policeman, for whatever good reason, would kill somebody with a knife, that would be hitting the news. Because when we had a couple of instances when a police officer on duty did kill somebody, which happened like, I don't know, 5-6 times in the entire history of Croatia, this latest history from the 90s onward, again, like I said, we had like weeks upon weeks of public discussion about it. It wouldn't just pass by without me noticing. So I told him, and they never had not one serious SWAT action, let alone killing people with a knife. When I say serious, meaning somebody shooting at them, they're shooting somebody. If they had some SWAT actions, it's always very successful and quickly fixed, and nobody gets killed. That's how it goes in Croatia. Again, because our criminals are just not motivated so hard to fight to their last breath, not to get arrested, because they're not gonna get big sentences anyhow, so they just let themselves be arrested. It's easier and cheaper for them time-wise. Like I'm gonna go to jail for 3 or 5 years and get out. What big deal? I'm not gonna be shooting the cops and get shot and what? He was never really part of the team. Common knowledge. In Croatia, it's common knowledge that he, like he said now in this video, that he has special treatment. He doesn't do a lot of things that they have to do because he's an elite athlete, and they respect that, and they valued his promotional might and value more than him doing everything that they do. They had enough people. It's not like, oh, and we need Mirko to jump through windows, get injured and lose his career, and you know. So I'm saying I don't know where Joe got his ideas. It's just stupid. And this is the last comment I want to read, where I'm explaining, and I said some things wrong here. I forgot, then I googled it today, and I see that I messed up some things, but let me read the comment. Never mind, I'll say what I messed up. Mirko was a kind of honorary member of ATE Lučko, that anti-terrorist group. We, as in Croatia, never even had terrorism. We didn't. Once you count out the war, you can say those insurgents were terrorists. But after that, coming 1995, the war was over and we didn't have terrorists since then, anything similar to that. His father was part of it, of that group, I'm saying. But that's wrong. His father wasn't part of it. He was a electrician working for a railroad company. Railroad. Blah. So he was an electrician. I remember incorrectly that he was part of ATE Lučko. He wasn't, his father. So his father died when Mirko was like 16, that's true. So Mirko was kind of adopted unofficially by the leader of that group. He wasn't the leader, that's Zvonko Lučić, but he was connected to them, and some of these people were also, as they were in ATE Lučko, they were also working for him in his security company. So a connected man. So this part is true. So he kind of adopted him and then made him a member just so they could give him a paycheck every month. This enabled him, Mirko, to dedicate his early years to working out and practicing martial arts with the real members of the group. He never had a day of field work. Okay, I pushed it too hard here, but as you saw in that interview, he basically didn't, yeah. He did, but not really. You know, like he goes to these field actions where it suits him, where he feels like it's gonna be fun, basically. Not when he can get injured or something, because he has this career to build. Which again, I'm not putting him down. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's like just normal, of course. Of course, he's not gonna risk, fucking up his, ankle couple of weeks before an important fight. That it's important for him and the team also. Again, because to the team he's more important as a focal point and to promote the team than just one member. They have enough members to jump through windows. It's enough. They had maybe 3 or 4 actions in 20 years, breaking into some houses of big time criminals. Nobody ever got shot or anything. This part is true. This is all common knowledge in Croatia, and Mirko talked about it for hours and hours. He likes talking, even more than me, which is really something then. And for hours and hours in this one Croatian podcast called Podcast Incubator. So again, check out that podcast and you can find, I think he was a guest like 10 times by 3.5 hours. So there's like couple of days of material to watch there, where he talks about everything and anything. Yeah, that's about it. So in the end, let me say again, it's not hate. I don't hate Joe or Mirko. I like them both. It's just with me, please get used to it. That sometimes, for example, I'm gonna make a video these days about Graham Hancock and his new documentary on Netflix. And I'm going to be mostly critical of it. There's some things that I want to say that I didn't like and this and that. That doesn't mean that I hate Graham. Think about it like this. All these celebrities of this type, I view them as they were like my uncle or something. That likes telling stories. And those stories are sometimes embellished. And I'm going to maybe make fun of him sometimes with the family and friends a little bit, poke some fun, harmless fun with him. That doesn't mean I don't like him. He's my uncle. I love the guy. But he also likes to lie a little bit and embellish his stories and anecdotes, and it's fine. That's just okay, it's fine. So I don't have to we just either adore him, idolize him, or mock him and hate him. You can be in the middle and just, these are normal people to me. I see them as normal people. So Joe, for example, why would he do this? Because he's talking every day, basically makes one podcast, he's talking for hours there. Of course he's gonna say some stupid shit sometime. Again, to me it's more interesting the people's reaction to this. So when I try to correct this, debunk this ridiculous story, I get told to, like, even one of them was really like, just a second, let me, it's not showing all the comments. Most relevant, I need to click this, all comments. There was a guy, now I can't find the comment, where he really told me something along the line like, shut the fuck up, you know, like, I got really attacked here, like, and called out, you know, like, spreading stories, being a hater, and told to shut the fuck up. And well, I'm just trying to say the guy isn't a murderer. So there, I found it funny. I hope you did too. I'm sorry being a little bit weird maybe in this video. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I was working all day, didn't have time to do this video, and I really wanted it to put it out today. So it is what it is. Thank you for watching. Again, I'm gonna call you in this video second time to subscribe, like, comment, this and that, but especially subscribe. I'm trying to reach that 1,000. I have only 981 to go. It's gonna work. I know it's gonna work. This isn't my first channel. I built a couple of channels already, so I know I have it. It's gonna work. Just a matter of time. But let's make it quicker. So please click that subscribe and that notification bell and all that jazz. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. As I said, it's most probably gonna be about Graham Hancock and his latest documentary. Thanks for watching. Bye.